I was strangled and lost consciousness. But when I woke up, I was severely beaten with some type of blunt instrument, and I had multiple fractures. I was beaten beyond recognition.
I was a victim of stalking by my neighbor. We've never dated, but he was infatuated with me, and he felt that we should be married. When I disagreed, that's when the stalking began.
In 1996, my estranged husband murdered our 2-year-old daughter, Sarah, and then he committed suicide. A lot of people would come up to me and tell me about horrendous experiences that they were having in the courthouse.
After my home was assaulted, I immediately sought an injunction.
When I went to the courts, they didn't take my case seriously, and it was dismissed.
A common thread seemed to emerge whenever I talked with people in the community, and it seemed as though something needed to be done to assist victims of domestic violence when they come in contact with the legal system.
Courtwatch began in 2004 as an initiative of the Orange County Domestic Violence Task Force, with a mission of empowering the community to positively impact the justice system's handling of domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse cases. Since its inception, Courtwatch has trained over 185 volunteers and monitored over 10,000 cases. Courtwatch volunteers undergo a 6-hour training program and donate an average of 350 hours per month in service.
When prosecuting certain cases that involve victims of domestic violence, we have requested that Courtwatch be in the courtroom to make sure that everybody is accountable and make sure that the process works the way it's supposed to.
Well, I think Courtwatch plays a very important role in the community. Really, to be there is kind of a reminder of what domestic violence is all about. Unfortunately, public policy makers and maybe some of us lay people often think about the statistics of domestic violence or even child abuse. We talk about very abstract things, but it's to put a face on domestic violence, and I think that's what Courtwatch does.
I think victims, if the victims know who Courtwatch is, and I think a number of them do, if they see somebody from Courtwatch there, they feel maybe just a touch more safe. They feel like somebody's there to watch to make sure that they're getting a fair shake in the courtroom.
Courtwatch monitors domestic violence and sexual assault cases in Orange and Seminole counties to make sure the judicial system holds perpetrators accountable and doesn't re-victimize the victims. This is done by regularly monitoring courts in order to identify patterns of behavior and obtain specific examples of larger problems or issues. This information is then reported to the courts and community, where it is used for further research and to offer suggestions for improvement.
The nice thing about Courtwatch is that they are impartial citizens, volunteering, so they don't necessarily have an agenda when they go into court. They go in and they're not partial to defense, they're not partial to the state, so it does keep everybody accountable.
There's a lot of diligence that goes into it. You have to go to court cases, record the court cases, and hopefully keep an open mind about how the court cases are handled.
I think everybody likes having outsiders in the courtroom so the general public can see that their courts are doing justice.
The Courtwatch is here to make sure that the justice system treats their cases properly.
I definitely appreciate the presence of Courtwatch, because if they weren't in the room, I don't think I would have received a fair hearing nor the injunction that I feel I deserved.
Just knowing that they were in the courtroom, I'm sure, had an impact on all of the participants, from the judge to the defense attorney to prosecutors, certainly to me and my family.
please visit the Courtwatch website at courtwatchflorida.org.